Hi, my name is Brittany,
And my name is Fatima.
and today we'll be talking about our presentation on Joaquin versus the United States.
Okay, so I'll tell you the overview of what we're going to be talking about. So first we'll talk about the summary of the case, the facts of the case, then how it relates to the law, and the conclusion.
So, starting off with the summary, the case took place in November 11, 2014. The Canadian Charter, the Criminal Code, Search and Seizure, Section 8, Right to Life, Liberty, and Security of Person, Criminal Law, and Extradition. The accused is wanted in the United States for prosecution for drug offenses. It is said that the accused and others exported drugs from Canada into the United States, and the appellant was being wiretapped in Canada, and law enforcement officials sent the gathered evidence to the United States. The extradition order of committal was granted, and the Court of Appeal dismissed the appeal of the extradition order and the application for judicial review of the surrendered order.
So the facts about the case. The RCMP lawfully intercepted communication between Wakeling and others that revealed the transportation of drugs to Minnesota. The information disclosed that there would be a large sum of ecstasy pills at a border crossing. Thereafter, an extradition was requested from the U.S. At the hearing, Wakeling submitted that the legislation authorizing the disclosures violates Section 7 and 8 of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms.
Moving on from that, Section 7, everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of the person, and the right not to be deprived thereof, except in accordance with the principle of the fundamental justice. Section 8, everybody has the right to be secure against unreasonable search or seizure, therefore not allowing the intercepted communications to be admitted as evidence. The extradition judge rejected Joaquin's arguments and issued a committal order. The Court of Appeal dismissed the appeal, and the decision was upheld by the Court of Appeal in British Columbia. Joaquin then appealed to the Supreme Court of Canada.
So the basic definition of extradition is a procedure by which a state or nation, upon receipt of a formal request by another state or nation, turns over to that second jurisdiction an individual who is charged with or convicted of a crime in that jurisdiction.
So now we'll be talking about how it relates to the law. So according to the Criminal Code, Section 193 authorizes the sharing of recorded conversations, even though Section 193, subsection 1, makes it an offense to disclose conversation. Section 193, subsection 2 states that subsection 1 does not apply to a person who discloses a private communication or any part thereof the substance, meaning or the purpose thereof of any part thereof who discloses the existence of a private communication. Where disclosure is made to a peace officer or a prosecutor in Canada or to a person of authority with responsibility in a foreign state for the investigation or prosecution of offenses, and is intended to be in the interest of the administration of justice in Canada or elsewhere.
Okay, so while Mr. Wakeling challenged different sections of the Criminal Code and the Privacy Act, all three judgments held that only Section 193(2)(e) has to be considered. Chief Justice McLagan stated that an examination of Section 193(2)(e) is only required if the appellant could show that his Section 8 rights were infringed in her view, which he failed to do so. Chief Justice McLagan also believed that Section 8 violation could only occur if the information is used unreasonably.
Adding on to what Fatima said, according to the Justice, Mulvar stated that Section 7 can be assumed in the same analysis as Section 8. Overall, Mr. Joaquin argued three main things. His first point was that Section 193, subsection 2(e) was very vague and overboard. 2, it lacked accountability mechanisms. 3, the legislation allows a limitless scope of communication to be intercepted and disclosed. The Justice disagrees that even though it is broad, there are limits to types of information that can be disclosed. The vagueness does not pass as a constitutional muster.
So to conclude, the overall decision was a 3-3-1 split decision between the judges, and the court could not decide whether such information sharing is actually constitutionally acceptable.
And that summarizes our presentation, so thank you for taking the time to listen to our presentation today.